Hello, everyone. Thanks for joining this webinar. We are excited to have you all to talk about the solution offerings AWS has built for industrial customers and how we can accelerate your journey with partner solutions. Name is Pugal Janakiraman. I run the worldwide Industrial IoT business development practice globally. Along with me, I have Prashant Adiraju from the Partner Acceleration team.
Cool. Thank you, Pugal. Yeah, my name is Prashant Adiraju. I lead the industrial solution efforts for AWS IoT within the partner team.
Thanks, Prashant. So as I said earlier, today, the intent of this webinar is to talk about the solution offerings we have built with a whole bunch of partners and how we can help you accelerate your journey around data-driven insights and all the fun stuff you can do to streamline your manufacturing processes. That's pretty much what I'm going to talk about. With that, let's go into the agenda for today's presentation. Okay. The agenda today is, first, I'll start with what are the common trends we are seeing, the challenges our customers are facing. Again, Amazon is a customer-driven, customer-obsessed company. Anything we do starts with the customer, and from there, we prove it out and then scale it up and then make it as a repeatable solution. That's the approach we take. So everything I talk about originated from the customers. We have proven it with the customers, and everything revolves around the customers. So having said that, the agenda is all around talking about the industrial challenges we are seeing and what kind of opportunities exist for streamlining the industrial operation. Again, the solutions we have spans every facet of industrial world, whether it is product development, digital validation, physical validation, manufacturing, supply chain, aftermarket area, every one of it. But today's focus, I'm going to spend more time around manufacturing and Industry 4.0 accelerators we have in place because there is a huge interest in this area from our customers. And what kind of solution approach we have taken and to make this journey as easy as possible and also avoid what we call it as undifferentiated heavy lifting you might have to do if you try to do something on your own. Okay? And then I go into details on what kind of benefits offering, and my colleague Prashant is going to go into details of what kind of solutions and partner-based offerings we have available. That's the agenda pretty much for today's webinar. With that, let me go into what kind of trends we are seeing. The number one thing we are seeing today in the market is it's all around data. Everything revolves around data. Data as an enabler. Again, been long enough in the industrial world and the manufacturing enterprise. Manufacturing world, if I go into a production setup or a plant floor manufacturing something, it doesn't matter whether it is a discrete manufacturing company or a process manufacturing company. That's a brownfield environment. It's not something like connected cars, autonomous driving, where a lot of the development happening is greenfield in nature. Customers are trying to figure out how to establish connectivity and then collect data and then do something with the data. That's not the case in manufacturing environment. Manufacturing production setup has always been special in a sense where customers have been generating this data. Customers like you has been generating data, has had connected manufacturing setup for a long time, 2 decades or more than that. Ever since PLC, SCADA devices has been invented, manufacturing world has been generating data. It has been connected. Streamlined production operation has been happening for quite some time in a high throughput volume industry like an auto industry or a low volume, high precision industry like an aerospace industry. Data has been there. Things are not going to change often in that world where you're not going to go reinvent or redesign your manufacturing setup to go instrument it for getting the data. Quite a bit of data access is possible today. That's what customers are trying to do. How do I understand this data better, which I had been generating for the last couple of decades, in fact, close to 3 decades or more, so I can do something with it to streamline my manufacturing operation, or I can make my customer experiences much better, or my downstream activities much better. That is the biggest trend we are seeing. Whether you want to call it as an Industry 4.0, which is nothing but data-driven insights, or it can be very much a smart factory or a connected factory kind of initiative which customers are adopting. That's the key to everything what is going on in the market. And that's where we are seeing the biggest interest from our customers. Obviously, if you understand your data better, you can start streamlining your existing manufacturing operation in a much better way. Again, here, as we all know, there are two different domains technology-wise within a manufacturing plant flow. There is an IT domain, information technology domain, which is separate from the OT domain, which is operational technology. Traditionally, for some various legitimate historical reason, these two domains have been kept separate by the customers because your OT domain cannot go down. It's all about throughput and various requirements associated with that. IT domain is around establishing security and executing processes done by human beings, but OT is pretty much machines executing certain things to produce something based on the OT setup they have done. And that is how industry has always been there for decades. So that led to quite a bit of problems in a sense where the IT world took decisions, whether it is inventory decisions or purchasing decisions or maintenance decisions, without having a deep insights into what is happening in the OT world. And there has always been that separation. But now with understanding this OT data better, which is the data which is coming out from PLCs, SCADAs, and all of those real-time units much better, you have an opportunity to go streamline the IT world much better because this has been kept separate. Now with additional insights you are gathering out of your OT world, you have this opportunity to go streamline all your IT system. Because your execution system, if it knows better that machine is about to go down, it can switch to an alternative production plan or look for a production setup which has excess capacity. At the same time, if you know that your inbound trucks are going to be delayed and you cannot run production because certain parts are missing, you can immediately take decision to switch to an alternative production processes. This is where customers want to get to, where they are digitally executing and streamlining their existing manufacturing operation by understanding the data better. So that's the other trend we are seeing in the industry. Obviously, sustainability is of huge interest for customers for multiple reasons. Because if you walk into a manufacturing setup, there is energy initiatives. There is additional green initiatives like water consumption, streamlining it, activities like that. A lot of interest in that area. Again, by understanding the data better, customers are looking for options to improve their carbon footprint or improve their, reduce their energy consumption around sustainability initiative. This again is a major interest area. Amazon is hugely invested in this area as well. And we are driving a whole bunch of solutions, which my colleague Prashant will talk about later today as well. Other major trends which is happening is around the customer side of the world, which is around today. They want to have a better experience from connected products and concepts like that. So if they have a deeper insights into around data, they can predict when they will have a maintenance issue, or then they can predict there is a quality issue happening. You can get ahead of the curve and then take care of things like are established and do some things like what we call it as predictive maintenance or a predictive quality kind of use cases. Obviously, other major trend which is happening in the industry is product as a service. Lot happening in the consumer industry, a lot going on even in the automotive industry. But it's still early from a manufacturing plant floor, but we are working with a whole bunch of partners who are already talking about providing lubrication as a service, cutting tool as a service, a production setup or a bottling plant as a service. So these are all the trends which is happening in the industry. And as I said, we are customer obsessed, and all our solutions we are driving is based on listening to customers like you, understanding these trends better, and building solutions around it. That's what we are doing today. Okay, so let's now talk about what kind of potential benefits customer can get if they understand the data better. again, to be really clear on that front, we are talking about understanding, running analytics, and having a better understanding of what is going on by understanding OT data better. But it's not just understanding the OT data. You can do some things with it. You have to infer from the OT data, and you also have to pull in your IT data from your MRP, MES, maintenance systems, and various other IT systems which can be out there. Bring these two worlds together to drive these benefits, what I'm talking about. It cannot be just one-dimensional view of pulling OT data and I can infer, I can drive all this benefits associated with it. You have to understand both the data sets better. Okay. Having said that, if you can understand this better, what are the kind of numbers we are seeing? And a lot of these things came from our partners like Hitachi and also from analyst organizations like McKinsey. For example, here it talks about reducing the operating cost by 25%, increasing the gross margin by 1/3 just with this analytics. But let's go a bit deeper into that on what does it really mean. Let's start with availability. The availability today, one of the major issues we are seeing in the industry is unplanned downtime which happens today. Because customers, if I take a real customers we work with, whether it is an automotive customers or aerospace customers or a process manufacturing customers, they have capital intensive, extremely expensive machinery running production today. For example, press shops. Press shops are $20, $30, $40 million assets, depending on which industry you go. And customers wanted to run 24/7, 3 shifts as much as possible. They don't want an unplanned downtime. And if an unplanned downtime happens for an assets like that, there is millions of dollars in losses for these companies. So again, for that, they want to do predictive maintenance associated with it, which is going to improve the availability overall. So that's where this 10 to 20%, 30% number we are seeing around reducing the unplanned downtime. The other one is around overall improving the productivity. So even if I don't do predictive maintenance, even if I have to do a reactive maintenance, the goal for companies is to reduce the time the machine is down. Because today what happens is most of the companies operate with outdated data. They don't have access to this near real-time data on what really happened in that machine at a OT data level. They only have access to outdated data, which they analyze it before they start the production every day in the morning. And when things go wrong, again, they scramble around to go pull this OT data. That is how it happens today for most of the customers we deal with. So in that scenario, what we are trying to help with customers is by if you can provide near real-time access to data. So that way you can cut short your amount of time your machine has been down because you have instantaneous access to data. There's like 15 to 40% improvement in overall productivity. That's what we are seeing. And it depends on the industry, it depends on the maturity of the customer and what use cases we are looking at. But in general, that's what it helps. For example, if a line or a machine goes down, customers want to do root cause analysis. And when the root cause analysis is happening, the machine and line is down and you're losing production. So if you can give them near real-time access to the data, that root cause analysis becomes a lot more efficient. Instead of it taking a few hours to go pull the data and do the analysis, you can do that in a matter of minutes. That's a huge savings for them. Overall quality improvement. Again, quality improvement, there are many ways to do this. One is a very reactive quality control, which happens today. Whether it's a human being doing that quality control, end of a line or next to a machine, which is highly manual, obviously. And also, throughput is not very high for that quality control process. And it's error prone because at the end of the day, it's a human being doing the work. If the experiences operators is on vacation, it happens all the time in Midwest where I come from. And when summer vacation comes up or hunting season starts up between November 15 to 31st, interns show up and they are not that experienced like the operators who have done the job for 15, 30 years. And the quality control process is not that efficient. So customers traditionally have tried to improve the quality control process by introducing vision-based system or an infrared system, ultrasonic system, which can greatly enhance the manual, slow way of doing things instead of testing 100 parts an hour, maybe you can test 1,000 parts an hour. So that kind of throughput increases happen. And also it is, the quality control is highly consistent in nature. But still, that is a reactive quality control. That's how customers have been operating for the last 2 decades. Now, with us bringing the OT data better, which can drive insights on this quality issue happened when the voltage fluctuated, or this vibration was excessive, or some other issue which we can see happening in a OT device, and correlated back to the quality data we are pulling from the quality system. Now we can do this in a predictive fashion, because you know that experience tells you, the model tells you that when this voltage fluctuates like this, that machine is going to have a catastrophic failure, or the quality is going to be really bad. You have an option to now do a preventive, predictive maintenance to go improve the quality now. You can literally have a predictive quality process established. In addition to that, we are getting requests from customers where even if the part is produced at the right quality based on the design tolerances set up by the design department or R&D, but the production numbers are deviating toward the upper or lower end of the spectrum of where the quality is still okay, but it is close to violating the norms and the deviations established by the design department. Now customers want to understand that deviation which is happening, and they immediately want to be notified so they can get the quality control back to the ideal scenario they want to be. There is a lot of customers interested in that use case today, and quite a bit of OEMs, auto OEMs primarily, are looking for solutions with which they can also do this with their supply chain. The other major interest, which I talked about, sustainability initiative, is a lot of interest in streamlining their energy consumption and reducing their electricity bill. The plant spends anything from, depending on a mid or a large size plant, BC, it's around $2 or $6 or $8 million in electricity bill per annum. We have solutions today where by just understanding the OT data coming in from 2 major sources of electricity consumers today in a plant floor. One is the actual machinery which does the production work. The other one is your humidification, ventilation, air conditioning system, which consumes the next largest amount of power. Just by understanding the OT data, we have solutions which can reduce that energy expense by 5 to 10%. We are not talking about additional instrumentation on the existing devices. Obviously, if we can do that additional instrumentation in addition to this, these solutions what we are providing can take that savings to 15 or 20% more. We can accomplish the same for water consumption. The other one, a lot of benefits and interest we are seeing is around safety use cases. For example, digital twin. By establishing a digital twin of a plant floor, having an AI/ML algorithm, you can definitely reduce the safety incidents, issues which can happen in a plant floor. By understanding the forklift movement patterns, by understanding various other metrics, lighting metrics around that, or is the lines marked on the floor not visible well, people can accidentally go into areas where they shouldn't. So all those issues we can handle it better with digital twin-based solutions and various other solutions we can establish, leveraging not only the performance data, but also vision-based systems or video systems out there. So these are all the benefits what we are seeing. Again, a lot of it came from our partner organizations, from our analyst organization. A lot of it is public domain information, has been there for quite some time. Also, if I have to talk about one customer who's achieving these kind of benefits, I have to talk about Volkswagen, the largest industrial IoT initiative happening in the world today. It's a joint partnership between Amazon and Volkswagen. We learned a lot to build solution accelerators like what we are talking about, and also to introduce services which is tested and validated in a highly sophisticated, high volume production environment like that, like site-wise service. Outpost capabilities like that. So the initiative with which Volkswagen started the journey is to streamline their production expenses, production efficiencies by 30% across 120 plus factories and 10,000 plus suppliers. That was the vision with which they started the project in 2019. As of last year, they are on schedule, if not a little bit ahead of schedule. by rolling this out to 19 plants spanning Germany, Poland, and a few other countries in Europe. And there is press release, enough public domain information and video available out there, which where Volkswagen executives talked with our executives and presented on how they are on target, what kind of use cases they are focusing, how Amazon's innovation methodology have helped streamline their world, how they are leveraging our IoT services. There's a whole bunch of information available. Again, if I have to talk about what Amazon we are seeing by doing this kind of data-driven insights, that is the best possible example I can think about. Again, common OT challenges. So today, if I go into any manufacturing plant floor, micro stoppages, common issues, things slow down. People don't know why it slowed down, because even if it is like a 10-second slowdown for some legitimate reason, where the operator has to slow the machine down, and then again come back to the full production capacity. Over a period of time, this adds up. This leads to a few minutes of production loss. If an auto company makes one car every 40 seconds, 55 seconds, if you have micro stoppages worth of 2 minutes, you already lost production for two cars out there in that assembly facility. So this is a big deal. And other one is around unpredicted downtime. Things which happen out there where line goes down or a machine goes down. People want to do predictive maintenance. The other one I already talked about, digital twin initiatives. Same thing goes around energy or sustainability and quality management use cases out there. Most of the customers, these are all the use cases they want to focus, and they want to understand their micro stoppage better, and they want to know how can we go to predictive maintenance, which the industry has been talking about for quite some time, and how can we construct a digital twin for our factory floor premises, for our manufacturing systems, for our manufacturing processes. How do I do that? And then streamline it. So these are all the challenges they are going through. And the consistent ask from them is there any way Amazon can help us with your services? Which is what we have listened to customers like you. And we have taken a complete comprehensive approach, a holistic approach, where we are not giving you a bunch of elemental service like a database service and data ingest service for machines, a machine learning service to go do something else. We have taken a solution-centric approach where we are providing a solution where you don't have to do the undifferentiated heavy lifting of building software, taking a bunch of elemental services from us, and you also take a bunch of hardware devices, protocol converters, and then you do the heavy lifting of building the solution. We don't want you to do that, because your request is, can Amazon build this pre-built solution and drive business outcomes we are looking for? So what we have done here is we have taken a bunch of our IoT services, like IoT Sitewise, which is a first-class service which can talk to OPC UA servers, PLC, SCADA devices, and then provide factory insights in a matter of minutes. And we have taken that, deeply integrated with protocol converters. So because if you walk into a plant floor, there are 300 or 400 plus protocols with which machines talk to each other. You have to consistently convert that into one protocol, whether it is OPC UA or some other protocol customers are interested. For example, if I go to defense sector, people want to use MT Connect. So different protocol requirements exist in the industry. So we convert that into one consistent protocol. So you can run AI ML algorithms on top of it to go drive insights on top of it. So we take care of data ingestion problems. We bring in vetted, certified hardware vendors and solution providers. And we also take care of protocol conversions. We also take care of deeper integration requirements with different PLC providers, whether it is Rockwell PLCs predominantly present in North America versus Siemens PLC primarily present in Europe, and multiple other PLC providers, Schneider's of the world, and few other makers out there. Deeply integrate with those PLCs or SCADA devices or OPC UA server, connect the data, and then establish a data lake which can not only bring this OT data, but also it can bring in the IT data from MRP system, MES system, PLM systems, maintenance system, quality system to drive meaningful insights. And also you can scale the solution beyond building it for a single machine or a bunch of machines or a line into thousands, if not millions of machines spanning multiple factories, and also take care of architecture which will be hybrid architecture spanning edge and the cloud. Or in certain use cases, customers don't want the data to leave the plant floor premises, so a lot of edge analytics will happen. In some scenarios, a lot more analytics will happen in the cloud. So we take care of all of it. This current solution accelerator we have built takes care of every one of it, and you can configure it in matter of days, if not days or weeks. You can get a holistic solution configured at a line level or a plant level or multi-plant level as well. So this is the vision. Again, though it's called as a vision, this is an existing solution we announced last year in July, engaged with multiple customers. It is in production with as a reference customer as well. What this can provide to you is, it doesn't matter what you're providing, manufacturing. A machine is a machine. A PLC is a PLC, whether you are making automotive components or you are making agriculture products like soybean oil or paste out there, or if you are making completely different low volume, high precision aerospace parts as well. It doesn't matter. Everybody has to use a PLC, and there is a CNC machines involved there. Any type of production facility, we can ingest data, and we can take care of protocol conversion, and we can get the data, whether it is a edge-based insights or a cloud-based insights. We can provide any of it. I can configure any of those solutions, provide near real-time visibility into the data. And also we can let you know if certain thresholds are violated. For example, experience tells an operator who has been present in the plant for 20, 30 years that vibration is excessive in this machine and the temperature a little bit excessive. And I always seen bad quality comes out when that happens. Or the voltage is fluctuating really bad in this particular motor, and experience tells me that that coil is going to burn out and we are going to have a catastrophic failure on that machine. So that kind of Boolean algorithms can be configured in this using our software like services like Sitewise, IoT Sitewise. And you can integrate it with maintenance system or notify human beings that something is going wrong. Do something around it. Don't wait for the failure or bad quality parts to come out and you lose millions of dollars in productivity losses. So we provide that capability. And this can be at a line level, machine level, enterprise level visibility, or even a component level, which quite a bit of factory information system, FIS systems cannot do. Even after millions of dollars of investment made by customers, we can do that. And once we provide that enterprise level visibility, we establish a data lake, we provide visualization, and also we enable AI/ML algorithms and also pre-built solutions from partners, which can reduce the energy outcome by 10% in the plant floor, and you can improve your throughput by 20% in the plant floor. So this is what we can enable, and this can be done with a pre-built solution. We are not asking you to spend millions of dollars to build this Industry 4.0 solutions. These are all pre-built. We are ready to engage. And with that, I'm going to hand it over to my colleague Prashant here, who's going to go a bit deeper into our partner offerings. Prashant, please take it away.
Thank you, Pugal. So if we go back to just the session that Pugal covered, he's sort of laid out with data as foundation, how manufacturing customers can reduce operation costs by 25%, increase margins by 1/3. And that's compelling value. So what I'm going to do in the next several minutes is to sort of lay out how AWS and partners are helping customers accelerate that path to value. And our objective is to sort of make it easy for customers to modernize their operations so that they can see the path to value quicker, right? So there are 4 things we're doing, right? First, we're automating undifferentiated heavy lifting. I think Pugal touched upon many of the OT and IT challenges. So the first piece is you're automating a lot of the heavy lifting that's needed there, right? So one key aspect of that heavy lifting piece is we built what's called as the Industrial Machine Connectivity Quick Start, which is essentially designed to enable customers and partners to get data from their assets. I mean, this is sort of very important because data is the foundation for this business value. And once we unlock the data, bring data to AWS Cloud in a very simple, structured manner so that you can start to realize business value with a variety of solutions from AWS and AWS partners. And the way the approach here is customers can convert their existing asset hierarchy definitions that they might have in their factory, in their line, in their machines, and each machine has many tags. And they might have defined all of these hierarchies in a certain edge application from another partner, let's say like an ignition, from an inductive automation's ignition system, or like a PTC's kept server EX. So bringing all that asset hierarchies defined in those systems to a managed service like AWS IoT Sitewise. And what AWS IoT Sitewise is essentially a managed service that sort of makes it easy to collect, store, organize, and monitor industrial data at scale. So we're sort of doing that first foundational piece of being able to bring all this data in. And now with all this data in and all the metadata in, being readily accessible by various applications, customers are now able to uncover their business value. They can get much more efficient. They're able to do more efficient maintenance schedules, from asset condition monitoring dashboards to predictive maintenance to improving energy management, and so on and so forth. So that's sort of the first piece. The second piece is, we're providing support to accelerate path to value. Now, customers are in various phases of their journey. There are customers that have looked at Industry 4.0, they want to go into production, and they have many sites across the globe, and they want to go into production across all of those sites. That's sort of a mature customer, and we want to be able to help that customer in their journey to being able to do this at scale. And there are other customers that want to get started. They want to get started with a few lines. They want to get started with a few assets being connected. And they're sort of helping to evaluate what is the business case. If I were to connect this asset to the cloud, able to get a production asset monitoring solution, what is the business outcome I can get? And they want to really try this in much more of a pilot manner. So we want to be able to support those customers as well. Now, the third thing is, and this is very important, and Pugal touched upon this quite a bit, is how do we help customers with ready-made solutions that addresses a wide range of use cases like production asset monitoring, energy management, quality management, and how can we provide them with ready-made solutions so that they can really accelerate this path to value. And the fourth thing that you see in this bottom right box here is we're bringing in a deep bench of partners to address needs regardless of where you are in your journey. And I want to sort of dive into that a bit more in this next slide here. If you look at it, more and more customers are wanting to modernize their operations with AWS. And while every company and every customer is different, there are some that feel comfortable to tackle their challenges on their own. But most of the companies we work with are looking for help. And some customers lack the deep knowledge with AWS platform to design the right architecture. They don't have enough resources to implement it. They lack the technology breadth to integrate all of the enterprise systems to sort of build out a single data pane view, if you will. They need help creating, compelling user interfaces, doing deeper analytics with ML and AI, for example. And they may not have staff to operate these solutions globally around the clock across all of their sites. So our objective is to address these customer needs. And the way we're doing this is we're bringing in an ecosystem of partners across hardware, edge software, industrial IoT consulting, deployment expertise, and solutions so that customers can build and implement applications regardless of their maturity. Now, our objective here is to build this community that's very complementary to the capabilities AWS provides. With the focus objective is how can we accelerate that path to value, which is essentially the theme of this webinar, is how do we help customers accelerate and get to value quicker. And the ecosystem of partners that's shown in this image is essentially to deliver that end-to-end solution for customers and reduce this complexity of industrial IoT. Now, many of these partners, they leverage the industrial machine connectivity quick start that I talked about on the previous slide so that they can just focus on what differentiates them. The unlocking data, bringing the data to AWS is the heavy lifting part, which AWS is solving with the set of automations that I covered. And then partners are taking advantage of that capability and focusing on what differentiates them and bringing value to customers. And that essentially minimizes risk, reduces development costs, and it sort of drives unique value differentiation. We're pleased to showcase a few of our partners that have demonstrated customer success with their solutions. Here is CloudRail, Beshley, Tensor IoT, Siemens, Hitachi, and Telit. So please register for 5 additional webinars, and you can hear more about how these partners have demonstrated customer success. Now, in summary, what I want to leave you with is 2 additional pointers. You can go to our aws.amazon.com IoT site. You'll actually get to see a lot of these solution propositions and solutions detailed out there. You could also reach out to us to address your industrial IoT needs. There's a contact form here. I encourage you to reach out to us, and we can help you regardless of where you are in your Industry 4.0 journey. And I think we have a solution that we can help you with, and we've got partners that can engage with you. Now, what I'd like to leave you with is, AWS and partners are bringing together a set of Industry 4.0 accelerators, and I talked about what those accelerators are. The objective here is we want to make it easy, make your journey easy, and with these accelerators, you can really optimize operations, reduce infrastructure heavy lifting, and unlock the value that's trapped in your data. And that's the data foundation that we've sort of talked about and help you get to that path to value quicker. And lastly, we want you to have a sort of consistent AWS experience and consistent AWS IoT experience so that you're able to unlock data to sort of modernize your manufacturing operations and really accelerate in the Industry 4.0 success that you're looking to get. So with that, thank you for taking the time, and make sure you watch the rest of the webinar series as well. Thank you again.